Bienvenidos a Mujeres en el Seguro de Crédito, el podcast de WTW que examina el impacto y liderazgo de mujeres extraordinarias en el sector del seguro de crédito en toda América Latina. Acompaña a Aline Dalindo, líder regional de Financial Solutions de WTW, mientras descubre historias de mujeres inspiradoras, los desafíos que han superado y sus contribuciones a la industria en una celebración del poder femenino para un sector clave en la economía mundial. Gracias por acompañarnos.
So hello everybody. Today we have a different podcast. Will be recorded in English because I have a nice invitation here, a nice guest that you talk to us about credit insurance and about industry career. So my name is Aline Dalindo. This is my project for women in trade credit in Latin America. And I'm responsible for Latin America and credit insurance for several years in the region. And today I will talk with Sarah Murrow. She is responsible for UK and Ireland in Allianz Trade. It's a nice partnership that we have for a long time. So thank you for accepting my invitation. Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Alina. Thank you very much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure. And I will say it's my first podcast opportunity in Latin America. So I'm very honored to be on today.
Thank you very much. So we start with our conversation. Could you share with us some questions? And I will start with the first one about the leadership journey. Can you talk us about your background and the journey to your current role?
Sure. So I have been in credit insurance my whole life and all the time with Allianz Trade, formerly Euler Hermes. I joined Allianz Trade in the US in our Baltimore office in February of 2004, just a couple of months after I completed my undergraduate degree in an entry-level role, working in customer service, and from there progressed throughout different roles in the commercial department. With the last role in the US I held was head of broker management for the Americas, covering the US, Canada, and Brazil. So I know some of the colleagues and the peers in your market. Throughout that time, really just took great opportunities to learn and had opportunities presented to me to advance. In 2016, I was offered the opportunity to move to Paris to work at our holding company as the group head of commercial underwriting and product development, and held that role for a year. Reflecting on kind of my journey so far, I think that was probably one of the key decisions that I made along my journey that really propelled opportunities, which was to move abroad. There were a whole bunch of risks associated with relocating, but a whole bunch of opportunities as well. It's also important to mention that I'm married and I have two daughters. And at the time, they were a year and a half and 4. So it was a big risk for us to move our family.
Not easy, I know.
From Baltimore to Paris, but it was well worth it. And working in Paris was an immense opportunity. And also working at the holding level, because you get a different view. You know, you get the global view, you get the strategic view. I very much had the market experience, but it offered a great new perspective. So it wasn't just the location and the geographic mobility that was great, but it was also the level and the type of role I was working in. In 2017, I was offered the opportunity to move to London, again with my family, and I took the commercial director role for Northern Europe, looking after commercial functions between Ireland and including Russia, excluding the Germanic countries. And held that role through COVID. And just at the end of COVID, when everyone was returning in June of 2021, I was appointed the CEO of the UK and Irish business, and have held that role for 3 years. I'm incredibly honored to be the first woman CEO of the UK and Irish business. We're a 160-year-old business, so it's quite something, and I'm very honored to have that opportunity.
No, very incredible. And my first question is, of course, to be a woman, as we know, I'm married, I have kids. We know that we do a lot of things in the same time. Being a woman, can you share some key moments or decisions that you have in your career to have significantly shaped your path to become a CEO?
Yeah, so I talked a bit about one of them, which was the taking the risk or accepting the risk and moving abroad or embracing that international opportunity. That was definitely a key opportunity for me. Not just because I got to experience the business from a different perspective, but I got to meet a whole bunch of people that worked in the business, and it created a very strong opportunity to network and to make connections with people that I still work with today. So that was an incredible opportunity. I would say probably the other two decisions or milestones, if you want to call it that, that helped me significantly in my journey was also I skipped over this part in the bio, the short introduction, but while I was working at Allianz Trade in the U.S. Between 2005 and 2010, I decided to earn my master's in business administration. So I went after work. I was working full time, but at nights and weekends. It took me 5 years, almost 5 years, to complete my master's. But that was a really great opportunity to learn. Also, I had already had some professional experience, so to really put that in practice in my studies. And it also gave me a strong certification on my CV in terms of leadership capabilities. And then the third decision, I guess if you want to call it that, or experience, was really selecting a technical area where I became an expert in, which was commercial underwriting and product. And I feel like that has really helped me, especially in my career at Allianz Trade. We're a technical business, and I've been able to leverage that strong technical expertise in commercial underwriting and product to help me along the way.
Good. No, it's a very nice history, and I've heard that you also is engaged in a association of British insurance that have the project with the same name, but it's a very coincidence that I started in Latam, but after that I found out that we have this from ICISA. And tell us a little bit about this project and the group that you are leading in terms of associations of women.
Yes, so indeed, Alina, there are I hold two other leadership roles related to our industry. The first is that I'm the chairperson of the Association of British Insurers Trade Credit Committee. So I work alongside the other insurers in the UK market on topics that are of interest to advancing trade credit insurance interests across the market. This includes things like data aggregation to help promote our industry, or to liaise with the media or trade associations on trade credit related topics. And I find that work to be really rewarding and fascinating. The other leadership role is indeed where we met, where paths first crossed, which is in February of 2023, I started a women in credit insurance group in the UK, which focuses on increasing the representation of women in leadership roles in the UK credit insurance industry through networking, training, and mentoring activities. And so the group's been running for a little over a year and a half now, and I have been overwhelmed by the support and the way that the industry has embraced this. We took off in February of 2023, and in October, ICISA invited us to become a working group under their umbrella, which we were very happy to do, and we've just grown from there. So I will hold, I think, 5 events this year, and we already have 6 events planned for next year.
Good. No, very, very good to know. And talking about now with our industry, but being a woman, of course, you have stayed in the credit insurance. I think you mentioned the industry for over 20 years.
Yes.
What kept you in the sector for so long?
Yes. Well, I think you're also in the industry for quite some years as well, Alina, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe you'll agree with me on this, but no day is the same, right? So every day there's an opportunity to learn something new. I find our solutions to be fascinating because they help businesses of all types, in all sectors, of all sizes, to achieve strategies, whether it might be risk mitigation or turnover growth. It is a solution that's applicable in any sort of economic cycle, and I find it to be fascinating work. And I think that the learning opportunities, the constant learning opportunities, have definitely been what's kept me in the industry, alongside the great people. I do think that we have really great people in our industry.
Yeah, no, of course. It's not something that you just wake up one day and, okay, I will work with credit insurance. No,
No.
you have a long pathway to to consider it, but it's very interesting, and I'm love, of course. I'm working for 18 years, almost not 20, but 18 almost. So very happy with this career. And as you told us, each day is different for another, always.
Always different.
Yeah. And about your vision for the future of credit insurance. As you know, in Latin America is very new, not so new, but I call it a baby market because credit insurance in Brazil, for example, 23 years, in Latin, 25 years old. So it's a teenager, let's say. What is your vision? Because you are in the Europe is a very more conservative, but how can I say,
Mature
for a
market.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maturity market. Thank you.
Definitely.
How is your vision? Tell us about your vision about this future for credit insurance, globally speaking, and what if you have some new strategy to implement to achieve this goal?
Mm-hmm. So when I look across globally across trade credit insurance, I mean the oldest entity within Allianz Trade is our U.S. business, which was founded in 1893. So it's been around for well over a century. And credit insurance, as you rightfully say, it's quite a mature product in a number of and mostly European markets. And the European markets are also where we find the highest levels of usage of trade credit insurance. We have increased levels of penetration. I think Spain and Belgium and France are three, and also Germany are some of the more highly penetrated markets. But what I say is that actually there's still opportunity to further penetrate in all markets, right? Because it's still discretionary purchase. Not all businesses buy it. So I think there is still opportunity even in the mature markets. What I think will be important for our industry going forward is to ensure that we continue to adapt to both the needs of our customers and expectations of our customers, as well as evolve alongside how trade evolves, right? Because we're tied to both of them. So in terms of customer needs, and I'm sure you're seeing this as well, there's an increased demand for the ability to self-service at all hours of the day. There's increased demand for immediate decision-making, very fast claim settlement, and immediate credit limit decision-making, for example, requires us to invest more heavily in integrating and leveraging AI, and machine learning, which is absolutely what we're doing in Allianz Trade. And customers are also increasingly open to integrating through APIs, especially larger customers with higher volumes of buyers. So I think the industry needs to be able to keep pace with the demands of customers in order to continue to grow. And then in terms of the evolution of trade, we have seen very clearly an increase in the B2B e-commerce space. So more and more trade is happening digitally, especially with the increase of the digital economy and digital invoicing. And there needs to be solutions created by insurers alongside our broker partners to be able to meet that demand. And as you will see, Allianz Trade is heavily investing in this space because we do believe it is the direction of the future.
Great. When you say digital, we are talking about, for example, APIs to help and connect to more our clients in terms of trade receivables. Is this?
Exactly. So that's definitely on the customer need to be able to integrate our systems with our customer systems without having to access or administer their policy through an online portal, for example. And then in terms of e-commerce, it's really about online transactions happening between businesses and being able to provide real-time coverage and pricing on a transactional basis immediately to be able to facilitate that online transaction.
Yeah, I hope it will be available for Latin soon, I think. It will be very great.
Yes.
Okay. Would you recommend the TCI industry for new individuals or new person that is starting their career? What could recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit biased, right? Because this is what I did. So of course I would recommend it to others. But if I really look subjectively, what I would say is I think that insurance is such a critical sector in the overall economy. There will always be demand for insurance, some sort of insurance, and credit insurance definitely. So I think that if you're looking as a recent graduate, what industry can I join and hone my skill, and we'll all be able to continue to be employed for a long time. Insurance, absolutely the opportunity. I'll also say that insurance, because it's so heavily concentrated on data, large amounts of data in terms of underwriting, it's ripe for improvement alongside the investments and developments of artificial intelligence. So there's a big opportunity to disrupt or to change or to improve what insurance companies are already doing in the future. And I think that that would be really interesting for a young person. So yes, definitely I would recommend it.
Great. And to continue to aspiring leaders as your experience, what were some of the key success factors for you as you grew through your professional career?
Oh, key success factors. I mean, what I would say is I talked a little bit about establishing those relationships when I moved to the group role. And I think increasingly it's become more clear to me that creating a solid network and nurturing that network and nurturing those relationships is critical to being able to get things done, and also to learn about opportunities that might come about, both business opportunities and professional positions that might become available if you're looking to make a career move. So I think networking is important, but it's more than just connecting with somebody on LinkedIn, right? It's about, as I said, nurturing those relationships to ensure that you're optimizing those connections. And it's two-way, right? So, it's about optimizing the relationship that you're making, but on the flip side, returning that favor when you're connecting with somebody. I also think a critical success factor for me personally has been to not be ashamed or afraid to voice what I want. One of my old bosses, he used to say that life is a buffet. No one's going to serve you. You need to go up and serve yourself. So and I like that, because it really highlights that, if you want to advance or you want a career opportunity, no one's just going to say, hey, would you like to do this? You need to voice what you want and be proactive. So almost brokering your own career, if you want to put it in that way.
That's right. No, perfect. And to finish our episode today, what advice you would give to young women aspiring to reach leadership in leadership positions in their careers? I mean,
yeah, it's probably be career advice I would give to both women and men, but I think maybe more so for women with the first point that I'll make. My experience is that women, more often than men, tend to lack confidence to go for roles that they may not feel entirely prepared for or qualified for. And I think almost faking your confidence and taking those risks and going after those roles is something that you just have to get comfortable with. And what is the worst that someone's going to tell you? No, you're not hired for the role, but at least you've tried. Wayne Gretzky, a ice hockey player, said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So the point is that you need to go for it. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and go for opportunities, even if you may not be fully qualified for them. That's the first one. And then the second one, I mentioned this a little bit already, but it's about taking risks. If you don't take risks, you're not going to reap the rewards of those opportunities. So, like I said, moving abroad with a young family, and also leaving a network, a very solid network, in a place where I had worked for 12 years. It's a bit concerning, right? How am I going to, if I want to go home, how am I going to find a way back? But sometimes you just need to take the leap and work hard and ensure that in the long run things will work out.
Yeah, and never give up. This is our very first point that we have in mind, being a woman. So, well, thank you very much, Sarah. It's a nice pleasure to me to have this conversation with you, to be with me in this project with WTW Latin America project, and hope to see you soon.
Absolutely, Alina. It's been a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening to us.